Behind the Hooks. With Manny DeGrandis. And Daniel Panetta. We're back.
Yeah.
We are back.
On this cold March night.
Is it cold?
Day.
I haven't been out there in a bit.
No? When has it not been cold?
I know. It's a weird winter. Like, this would have been...
regular winter.
Yeah. But it's I think our first winter going out in a couple of years. Whereas, like, the previous winters, we've been locked down. So
yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, I wonder if that has something to do with it, right?
Yeah, that's why winter's really cold this year.
But, I mean, this is the most shoveling I've done in a long time, so...
Yeah.
It's, eat the crappy. But, yeah, I guess summer's around the corner.
Sorry, I'm distracted.
Yeah.
Danny burps are going to be happening very soon. Thanks, Market Brewery, for these ciders. We've got apple strudel and...
Winter's blush.
That's the cranberry orange.
Yeah.
Am I right?
For my IUD.
UTI. Jesus.
NYU. I don't know. Just saying letters. YYZ.
Apparently, Manny's on birth control.
Can never be too safe. But what I was saying is summer's around the corner, and there's the energy's with the gigs coming back and everything. But now all the summer concerts are getting released. And
yeah,
it's so exciting and for people. Apparently not for me and you.
Well, yeah, okay. So I think it's dependent on a few variants. So first and foremost is who is it?
Yeah.
Second is
how much?
How much are tickets? Do you see the ticket prices now? Like, just to go, like, I was just going through Ticketmaster, and Ticketmaster is always famously like very expensive, but I mean it's not like a StubHub or something where it's like they pay somebody else that pays somebody else that pays somebody else that ends up going to Ticketmaster anyway. So I just went on Ticketmaster and looked at the prices. You're talking like $60 for like nosebleeds. Which, by the way, nosebleeds at a concert is still alien to me.
Yeah, yeah. Like Scotiabank, I don't understand. Right?
So Scotiabank Arena is
where they play hockey.
It's a hockey arena, and the basketball, right? It's the old ACC, which is
the old Sky Dome. Sky Dome.
Well, that's Rogers. Now it's the old new Sky Dome.
Sorry.
Welcome to Toronto. Yeah, whoever's got the most deep pockets is whose name is going to go on the building. Yeah. But yeah, so arena concerts, Arena Rock. Arena Rock is a setting on most DAWs that comes stock, but there's a reason for that. So let's talk about pros and cons.
So many cons for me.
So many cons.
I don't know. Like I've passed on the last two concerts that were free too. I'm just like, I don't want to go there.
You just blow your face apart for no reason.
Yeah, it's just you get there and you're like, oh, and you just keep walking up the stairs, another level, another level, and you're at the top. And then even if it's only certain spots that sound good, front row. Because you're getting stage volume, stage amps.
Yeah, you want to be near the sound guy.
Yeah, which is hard to get to. But it's just you end up watching, you're watching the concert from a screen because you can't see them.
Yeah.
So far away. I don't know. And it's just, it's $200 and you're sitting up there per ticket. And then you got to pay for parking and $20 beers and... I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little much. You're right. So yeah, let's go with the cons first. That's where you wanted to go. So let's go with the cons first.
Con to me.
Man, you are just a pessimist tonight.
I keep hearing that, but I'm in a great mood.
Yeah. So let's be real. Arenas were not built for acoustics or music. At all. They have great speaker systems now. However, it's just too much. By the time the sound actually gets to you, you're getting just this distorted oversaturated bass in your face. You're not really getting the best quality, and I find it hilarious when you watch like those live DVDs from those arenas, and you can tell even how overwhelmed the bands are on stage, because it's so much. It's just unnecessarily so much. The good thing is you don't have to do like a 4-night stay at a venue. You can kill it off if you're like a high profile band. You can kill it off in like 2 nights or 1 night in that city, and then move on, and you'd finish your tour sooner.
Yep.
You're
home sooner.
You're home sooner. So that's a pro. See,
that's a pro.
Half full.
Yeah.
Cup half full.
Well, it's nice. It's nice for the band when they're at that level to please a lot of their fans to get tickets, because everything sells out here in Toronto.
Yes.
More so than, it's just crazy when you hear these other big cities in the States and they just never sell out. Like, certain bands sell out. We sell out, it's crazy. Like any band can almost do like 2 or 3 nights at the ACC or whatever and sell out. People will just go.
Yeah. Well, I think we're still in that realm of like Canada's a foreign country to the hub. You know what I mean? So anytime you get into any country that's not the United States, people are going to be flocking to their nearest city to go and watch a concert. So we're still very much in that foreigner kind of avenue of music consumption. So like if we were in the States, if we were in Nashville and New York or something like that, I mean, like they're a dime a dozen, and it's like, oh, I'll catch the next one. You know what I mean? Like there's that mentality of it. But I know people that would come from like Quebec or
everywhere.
Or Manitoba to a Toronto concert, just because they're not coming through their province on that leg of the tour, right? Whereas in the States, I mean, like you drive 3 hours, you're in a different state. Here, you drive 3 hours, you're not out of your driveway yet.
No.
Like the provinces are just massive, just so big, right? So they're not going to go to, like, if you'll find even like a touring artist, if you look at their tour schedule, they'll go to like Toronto, Quebec, Vancouver, the staples, right?
But not in that order, because they'll do Toronto and Montreal, and then when they're in Seattle, hit
they'll
Vancouver.
Zigzag back and forth like that. But you'll never see them go, like, if they're doing a Toronto gig, you won't really see them do an Ottawa gig, and vice versa. You won't see like Ottawa, Toronto.
No.
Like that's too many in Ontario.
Even Hamilton.
Yeah.
Like I went to
Hamilton's awesome for concerts that way. Like they put on some great shows.
Because there's times, like I went to go see Bella Fleck, and they only played in Hamilton. They didn't hit Toronto on that leg of the tour.
I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Less traffic, and you still get the same amount of fans. Like,
But what amazes me is they'll play like Buffalo, and the ACC is an hour and a half away from Buffalo.
It's about 2.5 hours from Buffalo.
2.5.
Yeah, because you got to go get down to Niagara, right?
Yeah, I guess. Or even but they won't cross the border because it's all that extra paperwork.
Yeah.
And stuff. And a lot of them are touring and not. So hopefully, we're starting to see it now, but through COVID and stuff, they wouldn't bother crossing. And
it wasn't worth
it. Because we have too many rules in our stadiums.
Like the federations of music, the CFM and the AFM, just went like belly up without like immigration stuff over the past 3 years, just because nobody was going back and forth from countries. Nobody needed paperwork or anything. So it was like, well, all right, well, I guess we'll lay off some people.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever see another show. And, like, I guess Greta Van Fleet playing with, like, Crownlands and like, they're playing with a ton of bands. And it'd be kind of fun. But, I'd like to see most of those bands. Never seen them.
Yeah.
They're at Scotiabank in the middle of the summer.
But those are bands like those are Echo Beach bands. Yeah, those bands should be playing at Echo Beach.
Yeah, I think what they did was like put 5 bands so they would sell it out. Where you're almost like, I wish you did 3 separate nights.
Yeah.
At a smaller venue, even the amphitheater. So, what do you think of the amphitheater?
So, I saw Earth, Wind, and Fire in Chicago there. I enjoyed it. However, it's come into, so I separate venues basically like this. So you have like the Echo Beach outdoor festival, Il Scarlet kind of vibe, right? Where you're sitting on sand or on grass completely. Those are fine. Then you have your inner theaters, right? So your sit down theaters, places that were specifically built for live music or plays, right? Yeah. And then you have your Coliseum style. So the amphitheater sits in the Coliseum style, where it kind of tapers up with the seating and then into the grass. Coliseum style is supposed to work. Mm-hmm. For some reason, with the upgrades that they've done with the amphitheater, it's gone into the Scotia Arena, where the sound just dissipates and goes nowhere. It's too flattened out at the top. It's too much of a bell curve going up at the top, where it should kind of be like this wall of people, where if you want it to be that proper Coliseum style. I think of places like in Rome, or like in Pompeii, where you see those old style Colosseums and you didn't need any amplification because the sound just traveled upwards to the rest of the people. So really, in reality, you shouldn't need that much amplification in those Colosseum amphitheater style things, right? However, you go to places like the Greek in California, or places like that are that similar thing, and they have no problems, right? So amphitheater is hit and miss with me. Earth, Wind, and Fire Chicago was awesome there.
Where were you sitting?
I was sitting close to the grass, so I was a little I was a little bit before it.
Yeah,
but
and 400s is where the tops you still have above you.
Yeah, it's like where the bell curve starts to do that. Right, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but like the bell curve starts to kind of like taper outward.
Because I have a love-hate relationship maybe with amphitheater. I mean, their beer prices I hate, but
I tapped out my credit card on beers over there.
And the parking, it's like I remember going to I used to go to a lot of concerts there when it first opened. I'd always go to the Allman Brothers and Fish and saw Lenny Kravitz twice in the same year, just because it was like always kind of fair price, and you get the lawn seats were always $40. you know, like it was like, you could sit in the lawns. It's $40. Like, it's not going to be the best musical experience, but you're going to have a shitload of fun in the sun if it's a nice night. So I always went with the vibe. Yeah, just hang out on the lawns and have a good time, and where I'm not focusing on every single note. So it's a nice party vibe there.
Sure.
So if I go there with that, like I saw the Black Keys, where I went down, a bunch of us.
That's a good show to see there.
And I'm not really a Black Keys fan, and I was complaining a bit through the night about the drummer.
As you do.
But
as you do.
I was like,
where's that cup? The cup's getting empty now.
Because I couldn't believe it. Like, to be like such a terrible drummer.
We're going there tonight. We should have yours. Season 3.
I have so many.
Here we go,
friends
guys.
That play better.
Are you ready for this? Wait for this graphic. Right. Wait for this graphic. We got to think of a name right now on the spot. It's your segment, just like we have on this day in music history. It's Manny shits on somebody.
Grinds my gears.
Done. You know what chaps my ass?
My IUD, goddamn.
No. You have to do a segment on every show. Just, the floor is yours, my friend. Just shit on whoever you want to shit on. And then we'll find the pros and cons, and you will banish all pros away and just be like, no, the garbage, that's it. Manny's rant. Oh, it's like Sophie's Choice. It's Manny's Choice.
Manny's Choice.
But go on.
But, I like that vibe of, like, going and hanging out. We went to Willie Nelson and Tedeschi Trucks, and we were like last row of the 400s, and we were like, going, walking around and going to the, I had a great time, and the sound was just good enough. Like, it was like, you kind of, I've given up on going to these places for the sound quality. It's more of the whole experience and
yeah.
vibe and you know, so like I mean I saw Tedeschi Trucks at Massey Hall and Killer Seats and above them, and that was like that's my listening show. And then I'm there, I was just like, yeah, it's cool, you know, beers and smokes and whatever, right, and have a good time and enjoy it. Saw James Brown there. And they put
I'm so jealous.
They got rid of the lawns. Sometimes they get rid of the lawns with certain tickets things, and it was great. Everybody was dressed to the nines in suits, and everybody was dancing, and like none of the security stopped the dancing, and then it was.
Does that usually happen? Does the security stop?
They're always like you can't. Well, not dancing in your chair, but people were dancing in the aisles.
In the aisles. I mean,
right.
There's some concerts you just have to
just let people enjoy.
What is this? Footloose?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, okay, so going back to Echo Beach. So it's one price fits all, right? Because you're all on the same plane. I saw Sheepdogs there, and I saw Sam Roberts there, and I believe Metric and Dallas Green were doing a spot, and the sound went everywhere. This is one of those shows where, like, you know, you're playing beach volleyball and the stage is like, 50 feet away. So it's more for the experience. And, it's an Ontario place. There was other things to do at the time. And, before you went to the concert in the evening. So things like that are kind of cool where you can kind of make a day of it. But if you're going to specifically to like an ACC or Scotia Arena or something like that, where you have to fight through traffic and then fight to get into the building and then fight to get to your spot. You're constantly fighting to get just subpar sound, and the band you're looking at look like ants. Yeah. No, it's not worth the money. Oh, and on top of that, the money, right? How much are tickets for, the 100s? If you're going to the Scotia Theatre.
Oh, it's out of hand. I haven't even looked anymore. Right? $600 for up close per seat is not a far fetch anymore for a Genesis or something. And it's just like
it's insane. Oh. And just to give you some perspective, you know how much of that the artist actually sees?
Yeah,
very minimal. I want to say a good 30%, maybe 30%, because after they pay everybody, including the overhead, and then that's why the merch is there. They try to break even more so with the merch than the ticket sales. The house is taking a lot of it. So places like
why Pearl Jam tried to do a tour without Ticketmaster, and they tried to ban Ticketmaster. I don't know if you know that story. Back in the late 90s, I guess. And of course people shit on them because, oh my God.
They tried.
And they, and it was a lot more work. And I think now with the internet, you could do it a lot easier. But I wish they won that, because they're saying like, the amount of money that Ticketmaster just takes on. And I guess Ticketmaster uses it like, any retail store, right? You buy from the distributor and you bring it up 30, 40%.
Yeah,
right?
they got to mark it up.
But are they doing anything, at least there's a product, when you go into a store and you buy a pair of shoes, right? There's someone helping you and you browse around and, you have a seat, right? Like they're just printing a ticket and it either says Led Zeppelin on it or freaking Tupi and Bino or something like that.
And they don't even print tickets anymore. So basically,
you get an email.
Basically, their whole setup is online, but they don't do they do anything else other than tickets? Can you buy the band's merch through Ticketmaster?
No, you buy that in person, right?
What a joke.
Yeah.
It's such a joke. It's so silly.
Yeah.
To think that they have that much control. But going back to venues for a sec, because you mentioned Massey Hall. That's definitely my top 3 in the city is Massey Hall. This is a place that like the room is just as much part of the show.
I'm excited to see the upgrades.
Yeah, they've spent time on that.
I know. Like, who knew? They were like just going to close down and then COVID happened, so it just worked out.
So people haven't seen the inside of this place since 2018.
They did a few shows, and then they got locked down again. So I think Goran Lightfoot did a couple nights.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay.
There was a couple shows.
God, he's still Yeah. Okay. Never mind. I know Canadian people love him. He's a national treasure.
He's not your guy? I know a lot of people that don't like him.
I have a big problem with the Canadian music scene for multiple reasons.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Headley is my one reason, and that's it.
I just twitched. Involuntarily, I just twitched. But here's the thing. We pride ourselves on too many things that aren't ours. Okay. So the Canadian music scene, the Gordon Lightfoots, the Anne Murrays, even Neil Young, even like a little bit less because he has a lot of the California influence and dealing. And when he was playing with Crosby, Stills and Nash, he had that experience as well. So it kind of Americanized his sound. But this East Coaster thing that happens with Canadian music, and it's not even like genuinely ours. I mean, that comes from Ireland. It comes from the maritime of Ireland and
but all
other
music
parts
comes
of the
from
UK.
Somewhere else too,
My issue
okay.
with it is, yes, lyrics are absolutely gorgeous. The melodies are much to be desired. And even just this is, I sound like a vocal snob, and I should probably stop myself, but the once was a man from Nan, fuck it. I just, my issue is it starts to sound the same. Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
It starts to sound all the same. Like Matt Anderson, I absolutely love. I loved his show. I love his voice. I love his songs. He's East Coaster guy, but he embraces a kind of like, I don't know, there's a soulful part of it. He's kind of like, our Chris Stapleton. You know what I mean?
He's a real singer.
He is 100% real singer. Like he's a singer.
Right. So there's kind of that I'm
going to get a lot of hate for what I just said.
Yeah, some people, I know a lot of people that don't like Gordon. I'm a fan.
I just twitched again.
I
don't speak ill of the dead.
Yeah.
But I've never been a hip fan.
Yeah. So I see exactly what you mean, because I almost feel like maybe it's because of where we grew up and how we grew up. It just, I feel like
exactly. I think that has a lot to do. And you can say what you want about growing up in Vaughan, but there was something. There was just so much cultural music being thrown at us. And then when we finally decided to go rebellious, we went the route of like Floyd and Zeppelin and stuff like that. We didn't really have a chance to like zone in on Canadian music because we were so it zoned in on like either the British invasion or, rock music. And, Canada wasn't really putting out that kind of rock music. I mean, like we had the Guess Who. Mm-hmm. I like Burton Cummings. I do. Mm-hmm. He's very but he's more of a nostalgic thing for me because it reminds me of those bands from the 50s. He has kind of like that 50s Dion and the Belmonts kind of thing going on, right? Yeah. Especially with like songs like These Eyes and Shake Your Hand.
There's too much piano playing for me. I was never into Elton John and Billy Joel. I'm more into all those now, but yeah, I didn't like Burton growing up because of that. Did you like
BTO?
No,
you didn't.
No, and I always feel bad, and I'm like, I don't like the hip or.
What about
whatever.
Supertramp?
I like Supertramp.
Ooh, interesting.
Not the hugest fan.
But you like them, yeah.
Like I was a greatest hits guy, and I really enjoyed the tunes. I thought they were quirky and well written, and stuff. But Supertramp and Boston, that kind of stuff is a little over the top for me. I like hearing dirty guitars and grooves, right? Like
yeah, I totally know what you mean.
They were the original Too Clean kind of stuff, which is brilliant, and I think they have a spot for it. But
interesting. Well, you just opened up a whole thing here because it's narrowing down a style of music, right? Because I can equate like I think I can put Supertramp, I can put Steve Miller Band in kind of an umbrella, because if you think of the Steve Miller Band with the, you know, clean guitars, clean vocal lines, clean melodies, very, you know, major third harmonies, you know, like that kind of thing, right? I can kind of see where that style of music develops in real time. Were you a fan of the Steve Miller Band?
All those bands, I was a greatest hits kind of guy.
Yeah.
Dug the yeah. Like, I mean, you know, like growing up and you hear the Joker for the first time, like that just, you know, you're 11 or something. You just think it's probably, you know, the coolest thing. Yeah. Nah, I still like, you know, I don't know. I like the dirtier stuff. Right?
Do you think we know too much now?
So yeah, there's that thing of like, okay, so now Supertramp, anytime I've had to learn to play a song, I'm always like blown away how great a lot of the bass lines were and how thought out of, and I'm like, okay, like, so that makes me enjoy them more. Then there's bands the opposite, like Steve Miller. I'm like, wow, like
The simplicity.
The simplicity of the bass player kind of throws me off a bit, but it doesn't. It's not. There's nothing wrong with a simple bass line, but sometimes, and it's the Q107 radio station overplaying the stuff.
What, Q107 Zeppelin?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So they really ruin and you know, and it's apparently like it's on all the top rock radio stations from everywhere. Just keep playing the same tunes, and that ruins a lot of it. Because when I listen to, like, if I ever listen to a whole Steve Miller album front to back, I'm like, oh, okay, I like it. I get
it's got
it.
some pocket hits.
I get it now, and there is a cool groove going on in that band, which is cool.
I find, if I can just dumb down the Steve Miller Band a little bit, it's like a blue-eyed soul singer with a California, like Beach Boys band playing psychedelic rock. Like, oh man, that is so simplistic though. Think about it, right? The like twangy, like sitar-y kind of guitar licks that happen in there. It's very like, you know, Beach Boys kind of thing. And then Steve Miller, like, he's doing these like R&B blue-eyed soul righteous brother runs in his melodies. The production is very like, it's like, what if the Beach Boys sounded like Pink Floyd? Just in your face. It's like, who did the wall? It was Phil Spector.
Oh, the Wall of Sound?
It's like, you know, it kind of has that wall of sound kind of thing to it. Anyway, venues. So yeah, Massey Hall. I am so stoked to see the upgrades as well. Like that place is, I mean, it's almost like they built it while a band was playing on stage, and they like moved panels around to kind of make it work. You know what I mean? Yeah. Roy Thompson Hall. Same thing. There's so much concrete and wood in that place. The sound just like weaves through the aisles. And you don't need a microphone or anything to sing in a place like that. And the like soft seat theaters, the performing arts centers, you know?
Yeah, and I love playing those places because people are sitting down, and it's like a different vibe. People are there and they're like waiting for the music and waiting for every note you play, and every note seems to be
so important
and louder.
Yeah.
Which is so great. And I totally, so I love playing those places more than anything. And then I love seeing concerts there because it's like you're sitting down, you're not running around.
You can
getting
see
a beer, you know, everything.
The sweat beating off their, and there is no Jumbotron.
No,
there is no Jumbotron.
Right?
They might have a media wall with like effects and graphics on it, right? But they're not going to have like a delayed, latent Jumbotron that's focusing in on their face. You know, it's more so just about like, look at this. Like this is it. You know.
Yeah, and when there was the concert hall, which I think is still there downtown, called Masonic Temple, and then I don't know if it's still there.
Oh, that's 333 something. Yeah, but where Much Music was. Much Music was in the same building.
I can't remember. Exactly.
It's an ad agency now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah.
That was fun. But I mean, this is the thing too. I don't know if it was, I mean, it's a cool venue. And then stage diving off of the second level. It was like so freaking cool. But then I'm like, was it the shows I saw there? I got to see White Zombie open up for Pantera. I got to see Porno for Pyros. And I got to see like some really cool shows there. So was it just being young and excited?
But we had those avenues. I mean, we had the Reverb. We had the Big Bop. We had Holy Joe's, the Cathedral. We had all those places where we could just go to.
Yeah.
And other furniture stores.
Yeah, they're all furniture stores. Well, am I hearing correctly? Yeah, the Phoenix is going to sell and they're going to build condos, which is a whole other thing of just like, we already have empty condos downtown.
Music culture in Toronto. Well, Toronto culture was like, it was something that people, like cities strived for in the 80s. In the 80s, even into the 90s, like Toronto had this like, venues all over the place. There was a Toronto sound. Queen West had its own sound, and man, it's all gone. Like it's all gone.
It's just crazy because people move in there and then complain about the noise. Like so many venues, man. Like they have a doorman in the back door while you're loading gear just to like close the door as fast as you can so that we don't get complaints. And
I've been a few of those places.
And I'm like I don't get it. Like I'm gonna move into the heart of the city and complain about noise. Like what about the fucking streetcar, man? Like
you're in one of the major cities on the planet. You don't think you're gonna get noise?
Yeah.
This is what you signed up for when you wanted to move to the big city.
Like you can't live on any main street down there and expect quietness. Like what are you doing?
I have a problem with outdoor sound, but that's why I live where I live.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, right? So you choose to move out. I didn't want that. I didn't want my kids playing ball on friggin' Blue or West, right? So I'm like
Can you?
No. Exactly. Either get jumped for the ball or you get run over by a car.
I'm just trying to picture because those streetcars stop for no one.
No, I don't think they can. I don't think the guy's even driving. I think it's just, but
yeah, it's just a button.
Yeah. So I mean, and I love those like just smaller venues. Like I'd rather. I'm at a point where I'd rather just see someone, our local bands playing, at the 3030 Dundas or Supermarket or, I'd rather see those venues of up and coming bands.
Yeah.
That are just going to be super tight. Poetry, jazz, like those are the places the Arbor Room was gone now, but like.
God, that hurts. That sucks.
You just.
We lost over 30 venues over COVID.
Oh, really?
30.
And how many do we have before? Like, we were already losing them by the year, one by one.
Yeah, they were dropping like flies before that. But I think even places that had stages.
Stages are gone.
They weren't considered venues, but they had stages. I think they're counting those as well.
Stages, I don't even know if.
So I love Market Brewery. They got a goddamn stage.
They got a stage. Man. Like, stages are, oh my God, like. Yeah.
Hard to come by. Usually you're playing on the floor.
Just on the floor in front of the bar and just whatever, right? Like, so.
Even like, weddings you play.
Oh, I know.
You're on the floor a lot of the time.
Yeah, we played that one wedding. They're like, yeah, go there.
The Christmas one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they wanted jazz Christmas, so we're like, okay, we're going to bust out that muscle, are we? Okay.
Yeah. Ended up being great. I ended up knowing them, which was hilarious. I
haven't played those songs in years.
But, the stages are gone, man. And it's so, like, the Horseshoe. I mean, so I don't know, like seeing I don't know if I'm going to ever see a really big band anymore. I will go to the amphitheater again. Although it is getting more and more. Just getting into the amphitheater.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the ass.
It's a pain in the ass, no matter what way you go. And there's really, I don't know, is there a bus that goes close enough? I'm sure there is because it's Ontario Place.
Yeah, they definitely have direct transit there. But what about casinos?
I've never seen a show. I've played them.
You played a show, yeah.
But I've never watched a show in a casino. I don't think I went to Rama for a show. I think I wanted to, and I never did. And
I checked out Frankie Valley.
Okay.
At Rama.
How was that? I never played Rama.
Rama was cool. It's a nice sized theater. Like it's not overbearing. Like it's not too. It's not in so. It's not crazy.
Everything with that, I know with that. Like a lot of them would sell it so fast because it's not huge.
Yeah, and I sent my parents to go watch Donny Osmond down at I think Fallsview. Can't remember if it was Fallsview or Casino Niagara, but they took pictures before their show, and like the place is huge. Yeah. It's absolutely massive. It's massive. And but very soft seat kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Like it just looked like one of those just humongous soft seat theaters.
Yeah.
I liked playing them. It felt very. There's a formality to it that I kind of like. There's stagehands,
there's definitely a lot of help and a lot of guys that know what they're doing, and it's the same folks. But there's a lot of security and stuff. Like you want to go for a smoke, you gotta like bring a card and go through all these gates and get researched.
Well, at least your gear's not getting stolen.
Yeah.
And you have a dressing room.
We played. I was playing the Jimmy Buffett tribute. We played Woodbine Casino, and
wait, Woodbine Casino has a stage?
Not really. It's kind of like in the bar area. I don't know if they changed it. This was many years ago. It's kind of like next to the bar. And it's a makeshift stage. It's not a theater by any. Yeah,
I know what you're talking. I saw the piano men there, and they didn't they had chairs placed.
Yeah, because you're there, and you could but yeah,
it was like a showcase stage.
It was weird. Yeah. Like that was a weird one, but Anyways, our buddy Russ Dorff from Killer Doors, it came by with his wife, and he's really good friends with the guitar player who was in the band, Dan Lear, and I'm friends with him too, at least, especially during that time. And he's just sitting there, he came to watch us, and he's sitting there with his wife and whatever, and he had maybe 4 beers, and when he went for his 5th beer, they're like, okay, you have to leave. Like, it was so weird. And he's like, guys, I'm getting kicked out. Right? He's like, what? Because he was not cheering, not making fun of us, not throwing shit. You know what I mean? He wasn't being a bug or anything. He was just super quiet, and he could drink, right? Like he's got the tolerance. So like whatever he had, I know he could have way more.
What, do they cap you over there?
Which is fine to cut someone off, but like to ask them to leave,
asking them to full on leave.
Like, no, you can't have another one. You have to leave. Like, and just sitting at the table. So that always left a sour taste in my mouth. It was just like, come on, like
that's lame.
Yeah, that's lame. Like if he yelled even once, nothing, right? Like I did. So stuff. I mean, but
you got to think they're capping you. Like you're either taking, if you have a tab, they're monitoring this. That's the only thing I could think of. It's like, here's the average amount that it takes to get somebody stupid.
Yeah, and it's like, but whenever you're in the States and they'll feed you booze until you're crawling out of there. You would drop on the floor, and they just keep taking chips out of your pocket and putting them in the thing. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Gotta love it. Yeah. Well, let's take a break, and we'll come back with some historic crap. All right. See you in a minute. Hey guys, Daniel here from Behind the Hooks. Just wanted to take this time to let you know about Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout is who we use here on our show to distribute our show to
all the platforms that we can, Spotify and all that fun stuff. Follow the link in the description and the show notes, and it gets you a $20 Amazon gift card if you sign up for a paid plan, and it helps support our show, which is pretty great. That would be nice. We use it. It's been nothing but great. It's super easy to use. The customer support and the help that I've gotten because I am tech dumb has been nothing but incredible. If you want to upgrade, Buzzsprout has tons of guides to help you find the right equipment at the right place. Just start with some gear, a quiet place, and you can literally upload a podcast from anywhere. You'll get real great looking podcasts because of the website. The website is super sleek and it's really nice. It's nice to have a hub for people to go to if they just want to listen to your show. It's not hard if you have the right partners. The team at Buzzsprout is passionate about helping you succeed. I've experienced this firsthand. We had a previous show that I didn't have access to, and I was worried about it kind of convoluting the market a little bit. So the fact that we can run side by side is absolutely amazing. Join over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout to get their message out to the world. Your message is important, and Buzzsprout is here to help you get it out there. We use it, we love it, and we know that you guys will love it too. So, like I said, there's some incentives behind it. Go ahead and check out the link that I'm going to be putting in the description and the show notes. Now, let's get back to the show.
On this day in music history. On this day in music history. 1974, March 2nd.
March 2nd.
1974.
Gave away the date.
Today's the 2nd, right?
Well, in our land.
In our land. Showbiz, baby.
Showbiz.
We'll do a live one soon, I think.
Yeah, why not?
We'll host one. We'll do a live on location one. We've been getting questions about that, so we might as well give into it. Why not?
Well, you keep hinting at it. People do.
Because people ask questions if you mention it enough, right? So at this year's Grammys, not this year's, 1974's Grammys, Stevie Wonder won 4 awards. I know it doesn't sound like a lot now, but back then, that's a hell of a lot of awards. This is back before streaming, when your music could get everywhere in an instant. You actually had to work for it.
Like watching, seeing Billie Eilish holding all these Grammys, and you're like, whoa, you didn't see Michael doing that.
They hand them out like fucking loot bags now. So he won 4 awards this night: Album of the Year for Intervisions, Best R&B Song, and Best Vocal for Superstition.
Makes sense.
And Pop Vocal Performance for You're the Sunshine of My Life.
Great.
So, if you go to any bar gig, to cover band, to whatever, wedding, gala, Superstition is going to be played. Think about that. 1974, that song was awarded. And in 2022...
Still being played.
Everywhere. Think about it. Right now, wherever you are, somebody's listening, playing, or practicing Superstition.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's one of those, that's on the list, and that's on the list. It's just one of those.
It's an easy floor filler, man. Yeah. People just they dance to that song.
And you could do so much with it. It's one of those songs you could kind of get away with not playing exactly some ways, right? Because people just want to dance and sing to it, and you could change the grooves up, and you could go into other tunes in the middle of it, and
it's a great transition tune. It's a great standalone tune.
And no one plays it in E flat. Well, not no one, but it's just funny.
If I'm sitting down at the keys, it tends to happen. Yeah. Because I was like, well, you know what? I find with more corporate E kind of things, if you don't have keys, then play an E. Please, play an E.
As soon as you get the horn players in the band, then you're an E flat.
Yeah, then you go E flat.
I played that in F with a horn band. I don't know, and they never did give me the right answer.
With a horn? Yeah. The horn requested it?
Yeah. Yeah, they did an F. I found it very weird.
I'm trying to think of G fingering on the horn. It's like, is it easier? No, it's not.
It's not easier, so that's the thing. And then it's... And I don't know, it might have been the guitar player just didn't want to play an E flat, and then they didn't want to play an E, so they said F. That's got to be the way it went down.
Y'all are weird. That's basically what we're saying.
Yeah.
Is, get your shit together.
I had a real hard time playing it in F. I could go in E to E flat or whatever, and that should suck because I don't mind playing in E flat because that's really the original was. So I'm okay with it. I'm like, okay, shut up and just play it. Fine, you're going to lose your big open string without tuning. But F was weird, man.
I would imagine F is even weirder because like you can still get the root on your big your lowest string.
Yeah.
But as soon as you want to do like the flat 7-1, it's like you lose it because now you have to go to the second string. Weird. Okay.
Yeah. But Stevie.
It's Stevie. So
that's a great album. Well, there was that stretch there of all those albums that once he left. What record label was that? Because he left Motown and he put those, or did he? Were those still on Motown? No. So when he left Motown,
I think he left in 74.
And
it was in the 70s.
Albums, and he did those 4 album songs of the Key of Life.
Yeah.
Talking Book. And the music of my... I shouldn't remember all this. Where he had full control. And it was just
Well,
amazing.
he played everything on Superstition.
Yeah.
Except the horns, right? Or did he play the trumpet on that?
I don't know. I know he played drums.
He played drums, played keys.
I don't think he didn't play bass.
No. But think about that drum groove.
I know.
It is...
Well, I could picture him right now. I'm picturing him.
Yeah.
It's just like... It's just so funky.
Yeah. It's one of those drum grooves where it's like, as soon as you hear it, it's one of 2 songs. It's either December 1963 by the Four Seasons, or it's Superstition. Right? And there's something so special about it featuring the clav. The way that it did, because he did like layering of I think 3 clav lines. The main line, one where he's just like doing like basically playing bongos on the black keys, and another one where it's a little bit more chord, like laid down. It might be electric piano or Rhodes, I guess back then, laying pad underneath, but. There's something so cool about all the rhythmic elements of that song because the bass line is just it's grooving on the one there, right? And then he's going to town, and the way that the drums are kind of just carrying things around. It's such a cool song. You ever like sit and dissect it when you're when you're either?
I thought there was 6 keyboard parts.
Were there 6 keyboard parts?
I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised. Correct me. I'd find out. That's what they're for.
And that was the one where, so if I heard the story right, he was playing it, and he was hanging with Jeff Beck, and then Jeff Beck's like, "That's wicked," and he's like, "Yeah, you can have it." And then Jeff Beck released it, and then that must be an E. I gotta relift that. And then he released it. After, I think that's the way it is. He's like, "Hey, you can have this riff." It's like, take it.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Stevie wrote it.
Gave
it to Jeff Beck.
Yeah, and then took it back. Something like that.
So he covered his original.
Something like that went down.
Stevie Wonder covered himself.
Which is so cool. But
back then in the industry, you could do that.
Yeah.
It was a lot easier to do that back then. To have a release. Wow. Oh, it's inception of song.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Prince did that with Nothing Compares to You. Although it was a live version, though, right, that he released.
Yeah, I think he knew full well that was going to be a Sinead O'Connor. Yeah. That's it. I think Chris Cornell came out of nowhere and did a live version of that, too. And that became better than any version that anybody's ever heard.
I'm such a fan of the Prince version, but then of course, growing up, like Sinead's version was all over the place. But I mean, I think we've talked about this, but yeah, I mean, it's such a great song.
See what happens when you rip pictures of people?
Yep. Yep. Meanwhile, she was on the ball.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't
what
wrong.
What she was mad about. And
of
course, the media plays it, right?
Of all the things to happen on SNL, that was pretty tame.
Yeah.
Think about it since then.
Yeah.
But I think I heard Prince do Nothing Compares to You. I think it was on Ellen. He did it live, and yeah, it blew me away. Like it's Prince, obviously. Like it's
yeah, he plays whatever in a good way.
What I don't understand, I can't. Yeah, see, this happens a lot. Now we're talking about Prince, but I met somebody recently who said he wasn't a friend of Prince, and he named off like an example of 3 songs and reasons why he wasn't a fan. And I can understand, but there's a plethora of other material that Prince did that this person would never hear because so I fed him some Prince love and showed him different, because Prince has eras and Prince has avenues within those eras of different styles of music, and I turned him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you're going to find a style of Prince that fits you.
Yeah.
Like, he's just that kind of musician. Right?
Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff, when I heard off the first, it's like, yeah, this is amazing. And then some, you have to take a couple listens and you're like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
I missed that. Or I didn't get it. But yeah, he changed with the times.
Yeah.
And, I mean, everybody did, right?
You had to survive.
Had to
survive the 80s, you had to. All those artists that were lost to the 80s after the 70s.
Yeah.
And who were lost to the 70s after the 60s.
Yeah. Like, it's just...
Because there was 3 pockets of the 60s, in my opinion.
You 60s, there was a lot happening. If you were like 18 or 19 in 1960... And then think of when you were 28 at the end of the 60s.
The world spun 40 times.
You watched everything. Everything was getting invented. Everything was like, wow. Yeah.
So what I've found is, so in the early 60s, like 1960, they were just trying to, play off what happened in the late 50s. Rock and roll of the 50s was dying. Because, everybody, all the rock greats were, so Chuck Berry had gone on over state lines with a minor. Little Richard became a Rev. Elvis went to the Army. Richie Valens, Big Bop, and Buddy Holly died. This is at the tail end of the 50s, right? So rock music was kind of like a little bit limbo, right? And then you have, the 1960s, so they're just getting through. Then you have that initial British invasion, Beatles, the Stones came shortly after or shortly before, I can't remember. And then you have that playing into 67. Then you get into like psych or like, I guess, dance, where you get like the beach blanket bingo kind of stuff and, like California rock. You get the Animals coming in and all that stuff. And then you have the hippie movement to tail off the last 2 years of the 60s, right? What a decade.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's nuts.
A lot of it had to do with, I think it's the inventing the effect pedals and the bigger amps and the distortion and...
Recording techniques changed huge in the 60s.
And people were getting off of the 3-chord rock.
Yeah, they were putting a 4th chord in there. It's like, whoa!
They were learning chords and
the birth of pop music.
And the folk element they were taking in too, right? Mm-hmm. So like a lot of the open tunings and stuff. Because that was huge in the underground. What's so funny, right? But
the underground,
which really was like, it really was.
Yeah.
Like it's just those scenes are all gone, right? Like,
and then 1972, it all faded away.
yeah,
And it just became theater rock and disco. Weird, right? Such a influential part of rock music, music in general.
Yeah.
And it fades away like that, only to be appreciated maybe 20, 30 years later, the way it is.
yeah.
What an interesting time.
But is disco came from dance clubs?
Yeah, so basically
sound systems,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And DJs, and then like, because before disco, you would, anytime you go to a bar, there'd be a band on the stage with a sound guy and lighting, and it was always a show.
So think about it theoretically too, because like if I'm thinking of disco, I'm thinking of like wicked chord progressions, like steady groove, danceable, all that stuff. If we didn't have the hippie movement, we wouldn't have access to a lot of those, because avant-garde jazz was coming, and like the jazz greats of the 60s were morphing into these like cool, the rebirth of cool jazz. So all these crazy chord progressions were really coming from that element of the free spirited music, and now it just has a groove under it.
There was a
Or
lot
a
of
steady
groove
beat.
happening. There was a lot of repetition, and it was all about the bass and the drums, and then everything else on top of it in that era was just...
The choruses were so important in the 70s. Choruses were very important in
But
the 70s.
they were always up until when? Have they died? No, I guess it hasn't died.
No, choruses are still
now
everything.
it's just a chorus.
People
Now
are
it's
writing
just-
songs around choruses now. But
People are only writing a chorus for TikTok now.
yeah,
crazy.
they're catering to clip
Yeah,
releases. It's
crazy.
and I wanted to, I would love to like pick Joel's brain about that too, in terms of sync licensing, about like releasing for things like TikTok and Instagram, where you're just releasing like snippets like that. Are people doing that, or are people writing whole songs and then they're taking clips from it? I don't know.
They're definitely writing for the TikTok.
Yeah.
If it ends up being a whole song, it has to be, but they're definitely writing those 20 seconds for the tick of the talk.
Man, the evolution of just, and it's interesting for us, and we have a bit of an age difference, but I think it plays to both of us here, because we both weren't around in the 60s. But our music evolution went almost in order of the eras as well. Like what music we listened to, music we played.
Yeah.
We kind of went in that chronological order. I'm in the era now of like the soul R&B of the early to mid 70s part of my music evolution. That's kind of where I'm at. Where, 10, 15 years ago, I was still doing like the rockabilly and the 50s bop music, stuff like that. Do you find that you did that as well? You kind of went in chronological order based on the gigs you were getting and what you found paid more?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, right? Like, 'cause you're going to always, be a kid listening to the radio, right? So, but then what do you do after that? Which way how far back do you look to get the stuff? And it's funny. Like I'm more into the 80s now than I was then.
Okay.
For sure. I just hated the 80s.
I'm starting to appreciate
But
what
now-
went on there.
Now I'm like, okay, I mean, the rock was even just so over the top, and although I loved it and still but it's just like, like the birth of MTV, right? And it's like fucking David Lee Roth is kicking you in the face and jumping around, and it's like so many spandex colors and stuff. It's like
hair metal. There's a guilty pleasure for me when it comes to hair metal, because I have this appreciation for guys who, like tenors, genuine tenors, who sang with such control, despite what their lifestyle was like, or whether or not they are able to do it now. But there is something really cool about the technical part of hair metal that not a whole lot of people think of. I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. I tried. I did my experimentation with attempting 80s metal. It didn't work, but I can appreciate it now that I've done it. And I have this rule. This plays well into a rule that I have of for people who say, "Oh, I hate this" or "I hate that." And I say to them, "Don't hate it until you played it." Mm-hmm. That's a rule I live by now. I can say things like I appreciate Tragically Hip and stuff like that, even though I wasn't a fan listening to them back in the day. This is me trying to, dig myself out of the hole that I left before the break. But it's true. I didn't appreciate, I wasn't a fan of Tragically Hip. Then I played Tragically Hip, and I realized how sensitive to your surroundings you have to be while you're playing it. I can't pull off a Gord Downie voice. I would never try, to try and replicate that. But it does leave room to put your own spin on things. However, I just, I don't have that heartfelt connection that the fans genuinely do.
Yeah, and I think that was the thing too. I was just like, how are you so in love with this band, right? But when you dissect some of the lyrics, I think he's got some great lines in there.
Yeah. Oh, it's so poetic. It is so, there's no doubt about it. The guy was a poet, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. Then there's songs like Music at Work, and I'm just like, I just jump out of a car on the highway.
Oh my God.
What is this? And the video drove me mad, just absolutely mad.
Some bands just shouldn't have done videos. Just leave it alone. Just let the music put the visuals in your own mind. When I saw Simon and Garfunkel had videos, I was like, even though it was before the birth of music videos, they still had these lip singing videos that they did, and I was like, what are you guys doing? This is not what you guys are about. This is the label telling me you need to do this because this is the way the music is going. They're just like, all right, you guys own us, I guess.
Yeah, I mean they all did video for, Beatles had some videos and stuff.
Yeah.
That was, I guess they needed videos for, just for clips for TV and whatnot. They never played it, which is crazy how long it took for MTV to start. Because, every late night show would have a band. They'd have late night shows where they're concerts, and there's just so much music out there that it took forever to be hey, we should have a music station.
Yeah.
It's just so weird how long it took. When, everybody had videos, they were making videos. Promo, right?
Yeah.
Promo, right? So from the Beatles and, and Simon and Garfunkel. And
I'm about to burst some bubbles.
Yep.
So I have no problem with that. Where I had a huge issue was, you start watching these night shows like Soul Train and, shows like that. Not so much Midnight Special, but definitely Soul Train. And it's where in your right mind do you actually believe they're actually playing that song? The song has a fade out. And it's
fade outs are my favorite. Yeah. Live.
And I'm sorry to tell all of you this who don't understand, who didn't realize this But the first time you heard Billie Jean from Michael Jackson was not Michael Jackson singing.
Singing live.
Yeah, it was not. That Motown 25 thing, that was Michael Jackson singing to Michael Jackson. That song has a fade out in the middle of the show. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
I get it. It's got to be perfect, especially for a debut.
Yeah.
I get it.
I know.
But I also don't. Or if you're going to do that, put some effort in, like, maybe remaster it with a cold ending or a cold stop of some kind to make it look less like a track.
Yeah. Yeah.
We gave Milli Vanilli so much crap, but everybody was doing it.
Yeah. Well, but difference is they never actually sang on the original.
Yeah, that's the difference. They were nowhere near the song.
Yeah. But shit like that drives me crazy. Like Milli Vanilli, like once it came out that they were lip syncing, like their lives went to shit. One guy killed himself. Like, it's just like,
that was an experiment gone wrong.
But you know what's gonna go wrong, and
Played with fire, man.
just kill. You just literally like they come up with these ideas and these promises, and then you end up just living a terrible life after all that fame, right? And it was put together and all.
Oh, it's manufactured.
It's all manufactured to
Let's take
ruin
these
the
two
person.
model, where were they from? They were European or Swedish? What were they from?
I don't remember.
Either way,
I don't know,
let's take these
Barbados? I
two
thought they were-
beautiful men who can dance. And you two stay behind that curtain and sing these songs.
Were they singing like live? Not Milli Vanilli, but the guys weren't in the back singing. They were just playing the tracks.
Yeah, they were playing the tracks. That's how they got. That's how they got. That's right. But if they were smart, they would have had those people singing in the back.
Yeah,
I've had to do that.
You
I
sang in
can't.
the
I
back?
can't tell for who, but sing for somebody who had whose voice had blown out, and it was a paid gig, and I was just like I was in the back watching a monitor, and singing for this person, for a very, very large gig, like like it was insane. But like you'd get like hand signals from the singer as to whether or not they were able to sing that song, and then you would hold back, and the mic levels were all like in sync, and like it was nuts, man. And yeah, your conductor was basically the singer's lips.
Yeah,
it was nuts. Like,
yeah.
but that stuff does happen, and that leads to a very large question of the genuineness of music now, and I guess that can lead back to even venues or whatever we've talked about today. But the one constant is Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
We can't lose him.
I know. I think about that.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen in our lifetime, but we just
Yeah.
we got to do whatever we got to do to prevent it.
Keep him.
Yeah, he's so important. He is. I mean, like, just everything from who he is, what he represents, who he represents, and the music he's created, and lives he's changed. Dude, when I listen to Overjoyed, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm done. It's like, okay. Because some music I'll listen to, it's like, oh man, okay, I got to practice. I listen to Overjoyed and it's like, what's the point?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll never write that.
Just think about it. There's changes. And then like the way that he uses his melody as a segue. I don't know. I'm nerding out now. I need to stop. I'm going to sleep standing up.
Yeah.
These mattresses are...
Yeah.
Is there anything else to talk about? We could just talk about Stevie for the whole time.
Nah.
Well, we have some cool guests coming up on the show. I don't think we've ever talked about the show like this on the show, but I think we should start. Things to look forward to. This month, other than your vacation, but don't worry because Manny will be here on the screen when he's sipping pina coladas. Do you sip pina coladas where you're
Nobody
going?
sips nothing on vacation.
That was too quick. I wasn't ready.
sipping.
He wasn't ready. Manny's going on vacation for a bit, but we have recorded episodes, so those will keep coming out as long as I keep editing them. And we have some cool guests, producers, music industry professionals. I'm talking through my burps. Yeah. Man, the cider's coming in now.
Another festival guy.
Yes.
And then we have a lady. Hopefully she shows up who's behind the scenes.
And maybe you.
Maybe you.
Like, think about that for a second. This would be a cool, PSA. If you would like to be on the show, talk about your favorite music and your musical journey, or just to sit down and chat with us and stare at Manny's hair for a little while, shoot us a message. Links below.
Bring beer.
Bring beer if you like, or let me know what you like. I'll see if I can get it for you. And check out the links below.
It's just like when a porn star fucks a fan. I like saying things because Dan's like on a roll, and I'm like, I'm gonna say something so left field.
I'm just, how do I come back from it?
You don't.
You don't. The links below are important. So we do have the Buzzsprout link below. If you do want to start your own podcast, it is so bloody easy to do. Just go to the Buzzsprout link in our description, so that way you can start it. Use our promo code. And yes, it helps us out. It helps us continue as well. One of the links is direct to our donations. It helps pay for this exuberant amount of gear that was purchased for this show, as well as incentives to maybe bringing people in and trying different gear. And these things sometimes take insurance, so like we have to make sure that that's all paid up, and no more money out of my pocket because my girlfriend gets angry. Also, check out our personal links, Instagram and Facebook, for any updates that is going on in our lives. Manny is forever the busy person. And sometimes I like posting videos of cheesy songs. Yeah. So check out our links and shoot us a message. Ask us some questions. Maybe we'll feature them on an episode. So until then,
we bid you
adieu.
Adieu.
That's how you say it.
Adieu.
Adieu. I hate when people say adieu. No, you don't. All right, I'm Daniel Panetta.
I'm Manny DeGrandis.
Have a great week, guys. Take care. Behind the Hooks with Manny DeGrandis.